Hello, Croydon Travel community. I'm Scott Davison. I'm joined by Vikki Gosling from Croydon Travel. Hi, Vikki.
Hi, Scott.
This is the next in our series of videos where we're looking at our hosted tour program for 2026 and 2027. And today we're going to be doing a bit of a deep dive and a look into the Five Stands hosted tour. Now, this is a fascinating 22-day journey through a very historic and exotic part of the world. So if you are considering joining our group for the Five Stands tour, or if you're just curious to learn a bit more, then stick around and hopefully all of your questions will be answered. So, Vikki, this is your baby. Obviously, you're the mastermind behind this tour. What inspired you to want to create a hosted tour to this part of the world?
Inspiration behind the Five Stands was more opening up this region to our guests. It's beautiful hearted Central Asia, well known for the Silk Road history, but there's just so much more to it. And I just really thought it was a good opportunity to put together a hosted tour. This is a perfect destination to be fully hosted. If you love traveling through Asia, but after something a little bit different, if you love traveling through Europe, but you're after something a little bit different, then I believe the Central Asia Five Stands is a perfect journey. I mean, I love it. I'm hopefully traveling there later this year. I'm in the final stages of just tweaking my arrangements, and it's been on my bucket list, my wish list, for over 15 years.
Wow. Yeah, that says a lot. And that's sort of how we come up with these tours. We look at places that appeal to our team, either places that they've been to and loved or places on their bucket list, but also what we think is going to appeal to our client base. Now, this one's a bit different from the other hosted tours. Firstly, it's a bit of a longer journey.
Mhm.
So who do you think this tour is going to appeal to? What sort of travelers are going to be interested in going to the Five Stands?
It really does range from anything from photographers, because the scenery through the Five Stands is phenomenal, beautiful. Those that are after a longer tour, it does need 22 days is a shorter version of the Five Stands. The five countries that we visit are quite vast in distance, and they really do complement each other. It's those that are able to take 3 weeks to travel through this region. If you're going to do it, you really want to cover all regions. Um, those that have traveled through Asia, those that have traveled through Europe, that love a bit of history, but also love culture. It's probably one of the fewer places left where there's a lot of authenticity still left in the local way of life. They embrace tourism. They love it. And by traveling through the five from east to west, you just see such a change. They're all connected, but they're also very different. So people that are looking for that next soft adventure.
Yeah, it definitely an adventure, and I see what you mean about a photographer's dream. I've been watching some of the photos you've been sharing the last few days on social, and every shot's a postcard. There's these historic buildings, beautiful landscapes, and it it, it,
Mhm.
it just feels like a very different part of the world, so a real adventure. So I guess this is for the travellers who are looking for the next adventure. Um,
Absolutely.
this tour is a bit of a standout from the other ones, and it's
Mm.
really set up in a way that it's very accessible to lots of people. I think when we were looking at the pricing of this one, we're able to offer this to solo travelers in particular at a
Mm.
very competitive price. So just talk us through that. Why is this tour particularly relevant to solo travelers, do you think?
Because it's a land-based journey, we've been able to put a really low cost on the solo traveller, which is great because there are some journeys, as solo or independent travellers would know, where the solo surcharge is huge. A lot of that does come down to cruise itineraries, etc. But this is not only the destinations I think really appeal to the solo traveller, but also being able to join with other solos and not have to pay a large premium. It really is attractive for those that want to travel independently, have their own room, but be part of a small group that's fully hosted, that you are looked after, because this region is a region that you do need to be on a hosted tour. You can do it independently, but there is a lot of things that need to be maneuvered and pre-planned and well in advance. So perfect for solos.
Yeah, yeah, and you're right. When I was looking at the pricing of this one, and we'll cover more about the pricing later, but often for solo travelers, you end up paying basically double because you're having to pay for the whole cabin on a cruise, for instance, even if you're just one person. Whereas the pricing for this, it's only, I think, $2,000 extra if you want to travel by yourself and have a room to yourself. Or, of course, you can always invite a friend. But having done these sort of tours myself as a solo traveler, you're right. You get the best of both worlds because you still get the camaraderie and the social side of meeting other people, but you get to travel by yourself if you want to. So, what are you expecting in terms of the group? Do you think there'll sort of be a mix of couples and solo travelers? Where are we at so far?
Absolutely. Already we have couples booked, but we also have some solo travelers. So I think it's going to be a wonderful blend of both.
Yeah, fantastic. Now, you hosted our inaugural tour earlier this year to Sri Lanka. So, how did that go? First of all, how was that hosting experience?
It was great. We had a beautiful small group of travelers, and there was a combination of couples and solo travelers. Once again, when I put together Sri Lanka, it was another passion project. I love the country. You'll see it a lot more in the marketing nowadays, but it was just it is a beautiful, beautiful place to travel through. And we had a great small group. Everything was looked after. The accommodation was stunning. And once again, Sri Lanka is also a country of contrast. So great group of people, really well received. We've had those that travelled on Sri Lanka book on other Croydon Travel hosted journeys. Some have booked on this 5 stands. So it's really exciting. Yeah, it went really, really well and got great reviews.
Yeah, you're right. We got amazing feedback from the people who went on that tour. They loved having you as a host, but you've decided you're not the best person to host this tour. So why did you decide that? And better still, who have you chosen to host this tour and why?
Well, my expertise is putting together journeys. I am a group travel specialist, though I know my limitations. I do believe Central Asia, the 5 stands, is an area that you need somebody that has travelled there previously, that has already built relationships with the local operators, and having worked alongside a professional tour manager that has been through the 5 stands over 13 times by land, by air, and by rail. Knowing her expertise in this area, I approached her and said, would you like to host this amazing journey? And I was surprised within 3 seconds. She said, absolutely, yes. And that's Jo Taylor.
Okay, yeah, and I'm going to hopefully have a chat with Jo, and we'll probably have another video so people can meet Jo if they haven't already. She's a very experienced host. In fact, I think she's actually in the 5 stands at the moment. But just tell us a little bit about Jo, her background, and why she'll be a very good host for this group.
Yes. So Jo's been a professional tour manager for 20 years now. I worked with her at my previous job, which was a luxury tour operator. She has travelled extensively, not only through Central Asia, also through China, through Europe. Her expertise is looking after people when overseas. And the beauty of having somebody with experience, not only in the destination, but experience managing, is that she sees the signs. She treats everybody as an individual. She gets to know what you like and what you don't like. And the beauty of having a host along with a local guide, you can't get those confused. A host is there for the guests to make sure the guests are getting everything that they could hopefully wish for. And then a local guide is somebody who lives and breathes and is trained in history and etc. So having Jo along, it's just that little bit of extra. Yeah, it's actually, yeah, just a little bit of extra. Yeah.
Yeah. And Joe's going to be a great host. So we'll have a separate chat with Joe to learn a bit more about her and sort of get her insights on some of these countries that she's been to many times. But maybe just at a high level, if we can just run through the
Yeah.
itinerary, what's involved in this tour. Obviously, 22 days, 5 countries, it's a lot to cover. So where do we start, where do we finish, and what's involved?
So first of all, I probably should have started with this. Central Asia, the 5 stands. What are the 5 stands? So it's Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, and Turkmenistan. Got to say
Well
those nice
done.
and slowly.
Well done. Say those 5 times quickly.
Exactly. And we start by flying into Kyrgyzstan, into Bishkek. You can travel with either Emirates or Turkish Airlines at the moment have the best connections. We spend a night in Bishkek and then we actually travel through Kyrgyzstan. Beautiful scenery through Kyrgyzstan. And this is where you get to overnight in a luxury yurt. You get to do a beautiful homestay. This is what I would call the rustic region of the 5 stands. It's absolutely stunning. So we spend a few nights in Kyrgyzstan and then we travel to Kazakhstan, to the beautiful city of Almaty, and we spend a couple of nights there. From there, we are flying to Dushanbe in Tajikistan, and then from there we coach to Tashkent. So from Tashkent in Uzbekistan, we travel to Samarkand, and this is where we go with the fast rail to Bukhara, fast rail to Khiva. In all of our itineraries, we like to do different modes of transport. So whilst we have the air flights, we also have the coach or the Mercedes Sprinters. And then once we reach Khiva, we fly to Ashgabat in Turkmenistan and
Okay.
then spend a few nights there and fly home.
And what sort of accommodation are we having on this tour?
The beauty of this tour is you actually get a little bit of everything. So where we stay in the larger cities, we've got beautiful, centrally located 4 to 5-star hotels. Location is really important. Not only location though, but service. So we choose hotels that are renowned for their service. So once you get there, you know you're going to be looked after. We also like to get a little bit of authenticity in there. We've got an overnight in a yurt, traditional tent.
Yep.
They are luxury yurts. There's only 2 people per yurt, not 4. And then if you are a solo, you have sole use of your yurt. And we actually also do a couple of homestays. When we say homestays, they're locally owned hotels. They're normally quite remote, but they're more like a homestay, and you've just got that local experience there as well.
Wow, that sounds amazing. What a great way to actually meet some of the locals by staying with them. Yeah, that sounds amazing. So it's obviously quite a bit of distance you're covering in a number of countries. What's the pace like? Do we get some free time as well in this itinerary? Or?
We do. We try and balance. And whilst we include touring, not all touring it can be optional. So it's not compulsory. So if you're after a morning off or an afternoon at leisure, you may choose not to do one of the sightseeing tours. Other than that, there is the odd half day here, half day there. It is a faster paced tour than, let's say, a cruise. But if Sri Lanka was very similar, you spend a couple of one-night stays. We try and keep those to a bare minimum, 2 to 3 night stays in the other areas so that you can actually just relax and take in your surrounds.
All right. So what are we aiming for in terms of group size for this tour? How many people are we sort of planning to take?
This is one of our small group hosted journeys. So maximum of 18 plus our host, plus when we're on the ground, of course, we have our local guide and a driver. And then along the way, of course, we always have the assistance with luggage and all of that. But with regards to guest size, 18.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, small enough group that you'll get to know everyone pretty well on these sort of tours. Fantastic. All right. So that gives us a good feel of what we're covering on the tour. What's included in terms of the price and what's not included?
So it's a land only, flights are additional, but it's what we include that's probably different from other operators. We include what I classify as all the mandatory things that you are going to have to pay for at some stage. So tipping's a big one. We always include the tipping. So Joe Taylor will tip all of the local guides, the restaurants. You don't have to always worry about having that little wad of cash with you. The other thing that we actually also include is a currency pack where we actually give you a bit of local currency. So you do have those dollars if you want to buy something from a local market that doesn't take your credit card. We include the visas. Everybody needs a visa. You actually need a visa and entry documents when traveling through Central Asia, through the 5 stands. So we take care of all that. That's included in the cost. Home to airport transfers, which is always that thing, that extra that people forget about until they're getting ready to go to the airport. So from your home within 80 kilometres to the airport is included. What else? Everything. Hotels are included, most meals. We actually include breakfast and some dinners and some lunches along the way. The reason for this is we find that you can have more option if you haven't prepaid every meal, especially when we're in some of the larger cities. To have that freedom of choice, we found is probably something that a lot of our clients would prefer. All of your trains, all of your entries. Yeah, pretty much. Have I forgotten anything? And your host, Ex Australia.
Yeah, and that's been the feedback from the hosted tours. I think until you've been on a hosted tour, you can't really appreciate the benefit of having a host with you from start to finish. But also the feedback has been that, everything is taken care of. Sure, you might need to put your hand in your pocket if you want to get an extra drink here or there, but basically you don't have to worry about anything for this tour because it's all organised, it's all covered as part of the price, and you can relax and enjoy these amazing countries that you're visiting. So talk us through the key facts. When's this tour departing? What is the price, and what should people be doing if they want to be part of the group?
Right. So departing 28 August 2026 next year, please just call Croydon Travel, get in contact with myself. If you've got any other questions, no question is a silly question, seriously, when it comes to travel. We do have it capped at 18 guests. So please, if you are interested, and if you're a solo traveller, we'll be putting together some more information with regards to that soon, because it really is a destination that is perfect for those wanting to travel part of a group, but would like their own room at the end of the day, want a little bit of their own privacy.
Okay. Cool. So I'm looking here. It's 22 days, as you say, departing in August 2026. The price for a twin share is 13,999, which is we've got an early bird discount running at the moment for anyone. That's if you're twin sharing, and if you want to have your own room as a solo traveller, it's just an additional $2,000 on top of that. Yep.
Yeah.
Now, those are the prices. As I say, we've got a early bird discount running till the end of September. We've extended that till the end of September if you want to get in touch. And we've also got a promotion running whereby if you bring someone else with you, either another couple or another solo traveller, if you book 2 rooms, 2 people on this tour, you both get an additional $250 off. So bring a friend along or bring some friends along and be part of the group is a way to do it. So I'll put all of that information below this video. And if you have got any questions, please just add them in the comments wherever you're watching this. We'll put a link to the brochure. We've got a fancy brochure that Vikki put together. That's been getting rave reviews as well. Vikki, well done on that brochure. It looks amazing. And hopefully we'll follow up with another video just to meet Jo, who's going to be hosting once she's back. I think she gets back from the 5 stands later this week. But until then, please have a think about this. If it's on your bucket list, now's your chance to do it with this group. And if you weren't previously interested, hopefully we've piqued enough interest that you want to get in touch with Vikki or Jamie or Angela or Jacinta and have a chat, find out more. We'd love to hear from you. So thanks again and stay tuned for the next video. Thank you, Vikki.
Thank you, Scott.